Audrey Adams on the floor of the Convention Center here in Orlando, Florida at the Congress of Cities and Exposition. The National League of Cities has a number of exhibitors here. One of particular interest to you might be my good friend here, Tom Roper with Espionage Detection Services. Tom, I understand that you think that Homeland Security isn't about Homeland, but everybody.
That's true. You know, a lot of people feel that Homeland Security issues are about buildings, but in actuality, has a lot to do with gathering information from local government officials and then using that information in a way that causes distrust for our local officials and local governments. Our local governments don't have the funding available to do a sweep for illegal eavesdropping devices, and those type of devices are more prevalent in a local level than you would think. The equipment, we're one of 3 companies in the United States that has all of the equipment and all the certifications for that equipment, and this is the same equipment that's used by the White House to sweep the White House and all the embassies in the United States, and we're proud of that fact. We want the local governments to have access to that. We want the local governments to have access to that service. It is not a personal hit to our, when somebody wants to gather information from our mayor or our city manager or our city clerk. It is a crime, and that information is part of Homeland Security. You would be amazed about the people who believe that they're not important in this world, that work for our local governments, that what they know is not important. But in actuality, they're the most important people in the fabric of our country. And there are people out there that do want to know what their information they have. There are people out there that want to use that information against our local officials, and they're just not aware of that fact. Even when they are, the equipment here is not, this is the real deal.
Let's take a look at some of the equipment. This is really about securing information. So it's not personal, it's about being sure that the information that you have doesn't get out there.
That stays as yours and stays with our local government leaders to make decisions that need to be made that protect the financial infrastructures of our cities, for example. This, for example, is a piece of equipment that is very, very new. It's called the Talon. It's manufactured by Research Electronics, REI, out of Tennessee, one of the leaders in the world. This piece of equipment allows you to do a digital telephone eavesdropping test to see whether or not there's eavesdropping devices on the digital telephone system. It allows you to hear whether or not somebody is tapped into that phone, and it allows you to also to be able to find electronics that are located on the phone line. It is one of the only piece of equipment that can do that in the world. It's very sophisticated. This piece of equipment is called an Orion. And this piece of equipment, we use this to find electronics that are built into flower bases or books. And once this device indicates electronics in an innate object, then we use a digital x-ray machine and we x-ray that object to see what's inside of it. So it's sophisticated.
I have to tell you, Tom, I never thought about equipment in flower beds.
The beauty of that is true, Audrey, is that most people we're not wired the way that these people that do this type of activity are. These are the reasons why they're criminals. Most 99% of us are not criminals. We're not wired that way. But the 1% that are, that's the reason why we are so vulnerable to that attack, because we're easy hits. This piece of equipment is called the Oscar. And the Oscar is a free air transmission. It is a spectrum analyzer that picks up all the transmissions in the air. And what we do is we take the transmissions and we log all the frequencies that are going through the air outside of a building. And then we come inside to the target room and run it again. And then we separate out by computer those 2 runs, and whatever's left, whatever signal's left, those are the signals in that room that we're going to find that's specific to that room. And that's how we generally find free air transmitters that are running through the air. The most prevalent hit right now today is these cellular hits. They are little devices that have a SIM card in them. They don't even look like a phone.